First of all, I want to say good evening to everybody, and I want to thank St. Michael's Episcopal for the use of this space. It was very generous of them to let us be here tonight. In addition, I wanted to thank Javed Chaudhry, who's in the back, and he has been chauffeuring people pretty much for the last couple of days. So thank you, Javed, very much. And I also wanted to thank Cynthia Terzario, wherever she is, for getting together some coffee for us tonight. Now on to the real business of this evening. Our speaker for this evening is Dr. Qamar-ul Huda, a senior program officer for the U.S. Institute for Peace. He is preeminently qualified to speak on peace building and conflict resolution in the Muslim world. He completed his doctorate at UCLA with a concentration in Islamic thought. He has studied at the American University in Cairo, the University of Punjab in Lahore in Pakistan, Aligarh Muslim University in India, and with the Grand Mufti of Syria. His work has taken him to Pakistan, Afghanistan, Iran, the Philippines, and Indonesia, and probably more places than that, I would think. He is the author of numerous articles, reviews, essays, and books, including his most current book, Crescent and Dove, which is right here. And as you can see, I'm about halfway through it. Very interesting book indeed. Dr. Huda has a special interest in young people and has worked with youth across the Arab world to help them acquire strategies for conflict resolution and peace building. He spent this morning at Margo College talking with students and staff. He will be at World Learning tomorrow, addressing students in their conflict resolution program. We are very, very fortunate to have him with us tonight. So please welcome Dr. Qamar-ul Huda.
A few thank yous to Margo and to the World Council for inviting me, for Javed for picking me up, for Professor Amr Latif for hosting me in Marlborough, and all of you coming out today listening to this topic. So thank you all. And of course to the church for hosting this venue. Thank you very much. I think what usually happens in any conversation, it's the conversation that we have together. And if I had my way right now, I would design this so that instead of us looking at me, I would form a circle. And that's what I would do. And maybe we can do that later. So we can all see each other. And then you can see how people are taking in the material, what they're thinking, what are the responses as a group. I do have some preliminary things I want to say before getting into the issue of the religion of Islam and conflict resolution and some of my work. And I think it's really important because we tend to forget at least two things when it comes to religion. Is that not so long ago, I think most of you would remember this, there was a line of thought within the 60s that religion would disappear, that any progressive, modern, liberal, democratic society, and in a post-Enlightenment society, religion really had very little space in the public sphere. In fact, there are several books out in the 60s doing Vietnam. Religion really will have a very little contribution. If you remember this, can you just show by hands? Good. Okay. Sometimes I say this and people are like, they never heard of this idea. But it was a very common trend. It was accepted. It was rarely contested. Professors got tenure based on those books, even though they were all wrong, and they never stepped out of Harvard to think about it. But the problem was, I agree. And the problem was that when they were making such bold statements about religion disappearing, and to be a progressive modern state meant that our secular values, secular humanist values, provided the perfect platform for all human beings to live together. That those who put those ideas out rarely took the time to think about what the rest of the world was experiencing, what Buddhists thought on the subject, what Muslims thought on the subject, what rabbis thought on the subject. So sort of And if anything, it describes the real divide of religious thinkers of that time, religious writers, and the writers of that period of what is a progressive society. I say that to remind us that when we do talk about religion, that trend or that strand of thinking is not completely gone. It still exists. It's manifested in many other ways, manifested in different disciplines. That it's then manifested in my next stage, I would say, in the 70s or in the 80s, when we did have, well, let's say late 70s, we had this rise of what they call religious presence, whether it be the moral majority movement with Jerry Falwell, the rise of the Iranian Revolution, so we have a theocratic state. We have the assassinations of two important political figures, Anwar Sadat by a fundamentalist Islamist group, and the assassination of Indira Gandhi of India, assassinated by her bodyguard because she had then attacked their